Welcome to the Better Brain Project podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Decremer, and today we're on a little field trip. It's a beautiful night, no wind, so I decided why not come down to the pond. The boys are fishing. I decided to record the podcast. So episode 3 is going to introduce our second pillar of optimal brain health, and that is the brain-gut connection. A lot of us blame mood swings, energy crashes, just plain out brain fog on ourselves or on our circumstances or our stress levels, which yes, obviously pillar 1, we talk stress reduction, right? We need to reduce our stress. But what if you're taking care of a lot of things and you're still staring at the computer screen all day? Just by noon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're burnt out, you're living off of caffeine, and you're just trying to get to the next moment. That real clear, natural energy just isn't there. You just feel sluggish and off, and everything is slow for you. Your processes, your mind, maybe you're a little moody, snippy, irritable. It happens. That's how I get, big time. And the first thing that I used to do was blame myself. I used to think it was my problem. I have to change this. I have to change this. I'm this way. You know what? I wasn't fully wrong. No, it wasn't me and my DNA and my identity. And now I'm not just a moody person that has to drink 3 cans of energy drinks of caffeine just to keep going that day. I started to understand that it started in my stomach. It started in the foods that I was consuming. It started with what my patterns were. And my patterns were processed foods, sugar, soda. So what I didn't know was happening was my gut was getting massively inflamed, covered up with just crap, ultra-processed foods that it couldn't fully digest. So what does it do? It stores things. Your gut stores stuff. And if you don't clean it, there's a little highway full of nerves and communication systems, neural highways, and the main one is your vagus nerve, and that goes all the way up, and that is where your happy chemicals come from. Serotonin, GABA, dopamine are all made in your stomach, travel up your vagus nerve highway into your brain, and that is how we get our happy chemicals. We get them by having a clean gut biome, so we produce the chemicals that we need so they get sent up to our brain. And the problem is when we stop producing these chemicals, we don't look at the food first. We don't think about our gut biome. We don't think about introducing probiotics and prebiotics and fermented foods to clean up our guts. What we do is we instantly go to the doctors. Why am I feeling like this? And what do? SSRIs. What does an SSRI do for anxiety? It's a serotonin inhibitor. So it doesn't make more. What it does is it takes what you have and distributes it evenly. It doesn't make more. So you are taking your serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and more chemicals, and you are limiting how much you can produce because your gut's not producing anymore because your gut biome never got better. Your gut biome never improved. All you did was put the SSRI on top of it to give you your little bit of that you got already built up instead of creating more happy chemicals. So how do you clean up that gut biome and create more happy chemicals? So so maybe you can get off the SSRIs. If you need them, you need them. I'm not here to shit on medications. I'm not here to tell you to dump them all out. What I am here to tell you is there are natural ways that you can infect your health so you're feeling naturally better without chemical compounds on top of it. So maybe eventually you can get off of the SSRIs, the anxiety meds, the depression meds, because you're taking care of your gut biome and your gut is producing the chemicals that it needs. So think of your gut biome like this, like a fish tank, and you have no algae eater, and you just keep dumping food in there all the time. You keep ignoring the tank and you're not cleaning it. What happens? The sides of the tank get all green and mucky and gross and full of algae, and they start to grow life. Your stomach does the same thing. It basically packs all that crap that you've been eating, ultra-processed foods, into your stomach. And now when it makes the chemicals, it can't travel up that neural highway to your brain, so you're not receiving any. So you would think you're the problem. You think your anxiety is unmanageable. You think your depression is just how you are. You think your brain fog, low energy, irritability is the way you're going to be, and it's just because you're stressed out. When really, you need to throw in a couple algae eaters. You need to clean up that gut biome. And in our world, algae eaters are fermented foods, probiotics, prebiotics, all those fun little bacteria that go in and clean up your gut. And when your gut gets cleaned up, guess what? Yes, serotonin, GABA, dopamine get created. They go up the vagus nerve highway to your brain. So it's not your fault. I want to say this a million times, but it's also your fault because we're not eating correctly. And maybe that's because we weren't taught correctly. Maybe that's because of patterns. You know how our brain is. We get used to doing something. We're going to keep doing that. If it's good for us or not, our brain does not like change. Our brain is going to resist it. Our brain is going to fight it. It does not have your best interest at heart. Not at all. It wants to protect you from dangers that it perceives. And when the chemicals are low, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to perceive more danger. It's going to protect you even more because those happy chemicals, those chemicals that give you the energy, the clarity, they're not there. They're not there at the levels that you need them. So introducing foods, clean foods into your body and taking care of your gut biome. And don't go overboard with the fermented foods and stuff. There's a limit. We can talk about that more in another episode, but there's a limit. You don't want to just be packing probiotics and prebiotics. You can go the other way. Everything in balance. Everything in balance. But if you have a good gut health routine, then that balance will just find itself. And the start is from the soil. The start is from the farm. The food that you consume is the biggest piece. The chemicals, the ultra-processed stuff, that's doing you no favors. The minute you eat that stuff, the seed oils, it's creating inflammation all over your body, especially in your gut. And that inflammation is what slows down the highway. So if your diet is 80% ultra-processed food and you're depressed and anxious, I implore you to clean up your diet first. Whole foods, from the ground, veggies, fruits, high protein diet is going to do you a lot of favors. Adding the yogurts, prebiotics, probiotics. Kimchi is a great fermented food that helps clean up your guts. Adding those things, the little algae eaters as I like to call them, will help clean up your stomach, the highway to the brain, and you'll get the chemicals you need. And it's that simple yet complicated because now you have a bunch of habits that are already stored. You have a bunch of habits and patterns that you already do. So you're going to want to go to the store, grab the donut, grab the coffee, and start your day. Because that's what you've been doing every morning for 5 years. And it's going to be hard to break that. So I'm going to give you a couple tips here to break that and be able to switch up. Eat the whole foods. Go in your pantry. Find one thing that's super ultra processed. For us, it was cereal. Cereal's super ultra processed, tons of sugars, tons of chemicals, tons of dyes, all kinds of stuff. So that's a no-brainer, right? We're trying to clean up our household. We're working on our garden. We're cleaning, we're eating, we're growing more food. We're doing the things that we have to do to go to a more naturally made whole food diet. We're not relying on the stores. We're big foragers. We like to go out in the woods and places like this and find natural, God-given foods and herbs and plants that create that whole food balance that we really need in our lives. I'm not telling you have to go out and garden. I'm not telling you have to go out and completely blow up your life. Pick that one ultra-processed food this week. We got rid of cereal. We started having more eggs for breakfast, bringing in some meats for breakfast, some good potatoes in the mornings and stuff, instead of a bowl of cereal. And we just started doing that every day. Now we eat a heck of a lot of cereal, a heck of a lot less cereal. Even the kids, we don't buy it. We don't have it in the house. So what do you think? You think you can take one ultra-processed food, take it out of your diet, get rid of it, and replace it with something else? That bagel in the morning, maybe go with some homemade sourdough and some butter or We make our own jelly, our own jams. We make it out of flowers. We did dandelions and we did violets this year. The violet jelly turned out so good. Has a lot of properties to lower inflammation. The violets, flowers we found right in our yard. Lowers inflammation, helps our gut. We used natural sweetener like honey instead of processed sugar, and we get something sweet on homemade bread. And yes, I am one of those guys where I know sourdough has its issues. Certain sweeteners, the way we make the jelly, everything, food nowadays, everything has its issues, right? And we know that. And so I'm not trying to scare you into finding every clean food and it can't have one bad thing in it. You have your gut biome cleaned up mostly, and you eat 80% whole foods and sneak in, you live a little, have that piece of pie on the weekend and you sneak it in. That is, your body's gonna be able to keep up. You're going to be cleaning your gut. You're going to be healing. You're going to be digesting. You're going to be doing the things that you should be doing to stay healthy in your gut. So you're not going to have to worry about that 20%. It's when the ultra processed foods is 80%. That's when you really have to worry. And I know some people are going to go 100%. I like to keep things simple. I like to keep things that we're going to stick to. Listen to your body. Don't overdo it. Whole foods over ultra processed foods. Lower the sugar. Lower the caffeine, lower the inflammation, clean up your gut, clean up your brain. The brain-gut connection. This is pretty much the intro episode as we're going to break into mosquitoes. I live in Wisconsin, so mosquitoes are driving me a little nuts right now by the lake, but it's a really beautiful spot to do this for sure. This is pretty much the intro episode of the Brain Gut Connection. I am going to deep dive the vagus nerve, deep dive probiotics, prebiotics, fermented foods, deep dive all the serotonin, GABA, dopamine. What the heck are those? What do they do? How do they produce? What do they make us feel? And I'm going to leave you today on a little one about dopamine. Did you know you can release your own dopamine? That's the happy chemical. Are you low on dopamine? You've seen the commercials. You're not making enough, you have a chemical imbalance, you get on medication. But what if you could create your own? What if it's not a chemical imbalance? What if you're just not creating enough? Here's the dopamine reward system. Every time you do a little win of the day, you make the bed. No one's coming over, but you still make the bed. Because you get out of bed, you make the bed, start the day. Celebrate that win. Proud of you, Brandon. Good job. Celebrate it. Because when you celebrate it, you feel good about yourself. You feel proud. Guess what gets released? Dopamine. So you feel happy. Celebrate your wins. Feel proud of yourself. Live in the moment and release your happy chemicals. I'm going to keep all these episodes 12, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Keep them short. Keep them digestible. Keep them real, authentic, me. I don't edit. I don't script these really. I go off of what I know. So sometimes Mr. ADHD brain injuries here, I'm gonna ramble. I'm gonna forget what I'm saying. I'm gonna do all kinds of stuff. But what it does is it keeps me real. It keeps this podcast authentic. It keeps a normal person that's obsessed with neuroscience and how we feel, not some person that knows everything. And it just shows you guys that you can do it too. You can learn this stuff too. You can make your brain health better. And that's what we do here on the Better Brain Project podcast with Brandon Decremer, your host. This has been episode 3. Tune in, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can come find me on School Evergreen Foundations. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and other places here on YouTube. This has been the Better Brain Project podcast. I'm Brandon Decremer.